Good morning and hello everybody. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning here in South Africa, and my name is Scott. I'm teamed up with Senzo on camera, and we are looking forward to taking you guys on a wonderful live safari. Please send your questions through using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, and or just pop your questions in the comment box on whichever platform you may be watching, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Now, it's partly cloudy today, 21 degrees Celsius, 70 something degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm looking forward to the adventure. Myself and Senzo are hoping to find a big male leopard called Hukumuri. He was in this area last night, and I've got a feeling he's got a kill somewhere in this area. We're not certain of it, but that's what I'm hoping we might find this morning, and I'm hoping you guys may be of assistance. Any of you who may have been watching him snoozing close to the Vuyatela Dam late last night may be able to provide us with some useful information as to which direction he headed in when he stopped snoozing. So we haven't got any updates from any of you yet. We'd love to hear from you, because that will help us narrow down the search. Now, it's not just myself out this morning. I'm also teamed up with two others, one being Taylor McCurdy. I think she's heading off in search of a leopardess and her cub called Thandi, and I'm not too sure what Steve's plans are. He may be heading across to Chitwa, but he'll keep you guys posted. Shame he didn't get off to the best start this morning. He woke up to find his vehicle had a flat tire, so he's been busy changing that, but I think he is out and about now. Okay, now I've seen no tracks of this leopard leaving the area, from at least the direction that we've approached it from. So maybe he is still somewhere nearby, checking up in the trees for any carcasses. A big male leopard will have no problem hoisting his kill into a tree, and maybe he's done that. Or maybe I was just completely wrong and maybe he doesn't have a kill anywhere. Only time will tell. I've also got a feeling that the Nkuhuma pride of lions, which is our kind of resident pride, they haven't been on the property for a while, so I'm hoping they may have decided to come back for a visit. So if I don't have any luck here initially, I'm going to head off to our northern boundary and check for any sign of them coming back. And it sounds like Steve would like you guys to hop on board with him so he can let you know what his plans are for the morning.
Good morning, and a very warm welcome to you from myself, Steve Falconbridge. I'm joined by Fergus once again on camera. We both had a wonderful day yesterday. It is a glorious morning in the Sabi Sands in Djuma, and myself and Ferg, we are heading on down to Chitwa this morning. We're going to take a bit of a detour past our Gowrie mast, which is kind of on our southern side, and we'll head down that side and see what adventures we might be able to find for you this morning. Please feel free to send through your comments at hashtag Safari Live or follow the YouTube stream. Let me know what you would like from us this morning. I know there's going to be birds to be seen. No doubt we'll get to Chitwa Dam at some point, and there might be some hippos. And I know what I would like to find. I would like to find that little prince, Hosana. So you never know, he might be down in Chitwa doing what he does. He does quite like hanging out behind the dam wall, and I do know that his father was in the area last night. So we're going to go that side, catch up with the guides from the eastern side and see what they have to say to us, and we'll keep you updated. But there's a lovely little cloud cover coming in. Ferg and I are a little bit late out this morning. We must apologize. Clearly some of the off-road driving we did last night put a big puncture wound. Oh, we have an elephant. A big puncture wound into my tire. So we had to quickly change that. So I apologize for taking a little bit of time to get out. But we are out, and we have found ourselves what looks like a nice big elephant bull in the road. He's just told me that's about as close as you can come. As he shakes his head, he's not being aggressive. It's just a sign to say, okay, you've come far enough there, sir. There's quite a few 5-legged elephants in the Sabi sands, as you can see. Now, through my personal experience, when an elephant shows his penis like that, and I'm speaking from personal experience, I have seen it many, many times obviously with male elephants, when you get into their proximity, that they'll often do that as almost a sign of submissive behavior, to say, I don't want to fight with you, but I'm still going to stand here. Obviously, you can see it's quite an obvious sign. I've had it many times on foot before, where an elephant bull has been walking directly towards where I've been standing or sitting, and as he's kind of spotted me, he has dropped his penis and then walked just a little bit around and past us. I haven't read anywhere that indicates that that is a sign of submissive behavior, but just through what I've experienced, why would you take out your most prized possession in order to have a sword fight? It doesn't make any sense to me. So he clearly is not wanting to fight, and he's keeping that sort of that half-moon arc around the car, not trying to show any other behavior or submissive behavior in that form. Elephants are very, very obvious in how they defer to each other. And if you ever stand and watch elephants at a watering hole or feeding on a fallen tree, for example, the male elephant will walk up to the other one, and he will turn, the one who is being submissive will turn like this one is doing right now and show their back rather than their head. And that is a sign of submissive behavior in elephants for sure. Their body language is always quite obvious. And isn't he magnificent? This does not look like Daryl, but he looks a bit smaller than Daryl. But he's also loving the marulas around and this lovely long grass that he's loving to feed on. So when we talk about, I know I'm going back to the penis there, and I apologize, but often you'll see a male elephant will drop his penis to urinate, but then it'll quite quickly go back up again. It does go back inside the body, but as a sign of deference to us, he is leaving it out, which is always quite interesting. Fantastic dexterity with that trunk. What an appropriate comment from a very appropriate name. Willie says, I'm guessing this is a boy. You are 100% correct, sir. This is indeed a boy. And you see the behavior that he's doing. I have no doubt, Kirst, that there's lots of things being said on the chat that you are not going to be whispering in my ear to go live on air, which I fully understand. Ferg wonders if it's making you blush, Kirst. Always but educational. It's a safari show, says Kirsten in FC. Thank you very much. So we were a little bit late out, but we managed to get this magnificent elephant bull, and we're going to leave him on his wonders, and we're going to continue on our journey. We have, who is that coming? Is that Scott coming to join us? Have a look. We are joined in the sighting by Mr. Scott Dyson. Okay, well, let's go over to Scott and see what he's got over there.
Well, we had some male leopard tracks just behind us there. They're heading in a westerly direction away from the quarantine clearing, so I'm guessing that my predictions of him having a kill were incorrect, unless he maybe had something small and finished it and then moved off. So where I'm heading is to kind of the route that I saw him come in, his tracks coming into the Vuyatilla Dam area, and I'm going to basically just check if he hasn't exited, headed back to kind of his core territory by using that same trail. So that's what I'm checking up on. Giving good old Steve a wave goodbye there. Thought I may have just heard an impala alarm call behind me, but I could be wrong. So good news regarding some leopard tracks, and I'm feeling confident we've got a good chance of trying to track this Hukumuri male down. He tends to have moved through quite a lot of the same areas, and we've got Steve's elephant friend over here who's just coming straight past us in all his glory. Hello, boy. Oh, what a peaceful beast. Just going for a gentle stroll in the morning. Wonderful. Okay. So, very good. Ooh, I wonder, is that drizzle out there, Sens? I don't know if it's just low-lying mist, or if that's some drizzle coming towards us. It looks just like it's quite misty this morning to me. I'm hoping it's not drizzle. That'll put a bit of a dampener on the whole event. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Very good. We are going to send you across to Taylor McCurdy, who's hopefully got a cool update for you regarding her quest for Thandi.
Not just yet, Scott, because I'm still trying to find the road you told me to hop onto, and maybe I found it. No, I haven't. I haven't found it. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Sebastian. There we go. And, well, we're looking for Thandi, as Scott said. So I'm just trying to first find the road that Scott was talking about. So we're on Mamba, and then we'll start our search. I haven't found any leopard tracks just yet, but we'll get there eventually. We'll get there. Here is a potential drainage line. And now we are looking for a road. Yes, found the road, right. That's one thing we've got. Everybody watch out for your heads. Remember to duck as we go under the branches so that you feel like you're all on a safari with us. On a safari with us. I feel like it needs to be like a proper VR. You need wind blowing in your face. Watch that, sir. At least it's just a silver cluster. You need the occasional branch scratching your arm. Ow! I didn't get hurt. I was just pretending, like how you would feel if you had this whole scene. It would be quite nice. Oh, goodness. It did. Got me. High five that branch. Wasn't supposed to do that. Don't know why. I tried. See, there's a fork in the road, but we'll take the prominent one. Sometimes. Oh, right. Well, quite a bit of hundu bashing, but I need to keep my eyes peeled to spot Thandi and her cub. Let's go back across to Steve and see if he's at Chitwa.
Thank you very much, Taylor. No, I'm not yet at Chitwa. We are still trying to get out of the Djuma property. We've just spotted tracks of what looks like a female leopard. See if I can pull over there. Not very clear, Ferg. Can you see just over there? Do you need me to circle it for you? Sorry about my body parts. Let me jump out. Let me jump out and then you'll be able to see what I'm looking at. There's one. There's one. There's one. How about over here, Ferg? Apologies, folks. Reverse a bit. There you go. You can see the tracks of what looks like a female. I'm going to have another closer look. If I just jump out real quick. This actually is a male leopard from the size and is walking very, very quickly. See, this is the back foot and this is the front foot, and the distance between those two is quite far. When they stalk, they walk on top of each other, the tracks, and when they walk a little bit quicker, a little bit further in front, and when they walk much quicker, as in a territorial sort of lope, this is the kind of track that you might expect to see. I wonder if it's the same as those which Scott is following up on, but it does seem as if it was from last night. They're heading in that direction, so I will let Scott know where I saw them come out. I think, Ferg, we're going to turn back that way, go down Weavers, purely because we wouldn't mind finding a male leopard. Ryan would like to know, how do we tell age of tracks? Well, Ryan, first of all, the easiest method to identify with tracks is to know when last did someone drive there. If you know that people drove here last night, which I know we drove here yesterday morning we drove on this road, and those tracks are on top of our vehicle tracks. So I know for a fact that they are after yesterday's drive. The chances of a leopard moving during the day yesterday along this road in a territorial sort of manner would be unlikely, which means it would have been most likely last night. But then you can have a look when you know it's possibly moved at night. Are there other tracks on top of it? Nocturnal animals, for example, like civets or genets, scrub hares, will be moving at night. If they're on top of those tracks, then you can be almost certain that that animal moved sometime early in the evening. But then if you've got Franklin on them, which would have moved early this morning, then you know that it's later and later in the day. It is circumspect, it's not always 100%, it's a bit of a guess factor, but it does take practice and experience to see the sharpness and the lines. As the light comes out, we get a bit more color, it's a bit easier to see the edges, and as the track depresses, it stays quite sort of sharp, and as it gets older with the wind and whatever conditions, it starts to fade and loses consistency. We're going to continue here and see what we can come up with on these tracks, and we're going to go over to Scott with the giraffe.
Yes, we just came around the corner and there he was, just slowly chewing the cud. Now watch his throat closely. There's about to be another bolus that travels up his throat into his mouth. You'll actually be able to see the ball traveling up the bottom end of his throat. There it is. Bodoink. You enjoy that cud, buddy. And I'm told this giraffe has been seen quite regularly. He's got a very distinctive scar on his neck, but sadly he's just turned his neck kind of away from us, a little bit lower down, Sens. Let's see if we can see that scar. Well, we can just kind of see half of it right at the top of the frame now. And there it is. A few flies buzzing about it. He doesn't seem too concerned though. And a few oxpeckers as well. Some birds popping around, doing a great job combing through his fur looking for parasites. How cool is that? Wonderful. Well, good luck finding your breakfast, you little good Samaritan, you. Beautiful. Very peaceful beasts, the old giraffe. When we first arrived, you were staring quite intently, just kind of on the side of the road, and I thought there may be a leopard lying in the grass. It's been a while since a giraffe's assisted me in finding some predators. Actually can't remember when last it happened, probably up in the Mara. But looking forward to another one of those days to occur. Bobby, you'd like to know if giraffe can break their ossicones. And yes, it's not something that I commonly see, but even this guy, you can see they're kind of slightly bent, and one's forward, one's backwards. One actually looks okay, and the closer one towards us kind of looks like it's bending a little bit backwards. I'm not sure if that was a birth defect or if it had been kind of slightly knocked out of place whilst fighting. They do use those ossicones to ram into one another, swinging their heads around like giant battering rams. I've never actually seen a freshly broken one though. I've just always seen kind of bent and distorted ones, and again, I'm not sure if they've broken in battle or if they're just birth defects. Wonderful. So happy to hear that Steve found in all likelihood the same male leopard tracks that I had. Jeez, he's so relaxed. We should be able to get you guys some great close-ups here now. And now I'm just kind of looping ahead from where Steve is, and again just checking the kind of usual pathways that Hukumuri uses when he comes in and out of Djuma. So I'm going to be giving Steve a hand following up on those tracks. Let's have a look at his tail sends. I love watching giraffes swish their tail from side to side, and if we keep quiet you might actually be able to hear it. Come on buddy, we're not going to hear it if you do it like that. Oh good, you may have just been able to hear it. There we go, another one. A little bit ambitious, but a beautiful long fly swatter. Very elaborate compared to most of the other animals. They've definitely got the longest fur on their tails, I guess because they've got such long legs. Oh, well, Angela, I'm very happy to hear that we have found your favorite animal. And Angela, I'm not sure if you've seen what a reticulated giraffe looks like. There's about 9 different subspecies of these animals that occur throughout sub-Saharan Africa, and one of them is the reticulated giraffe, which you get in an area from central Kenya northwards, and they are incredibly beautiful. So I'd urge you to have a old Google search of that specific species. They're by far my favorites. They're also the easiest to distinguish out of all the different subspecies. The rest all look fairly similar, but the reticulated giraffe is quite different. And the main difference is that where you see the light kind of brown coloration on this giraffe's coat, the reticulated giraffe will be a clean white color. And where you see the dark brown blotches on this giraffe, you can see they they very irregular shapes, and there's kind of a diffused border, if that makes sense, whereas the reticulated giraffe is a very set border, very defined between its dark blotches and then the white border around them. Well, Dale, you've just mentioned that the giraffes in the zoo where you live are reticulated giraffes, so that's a bonus. You'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say about their patterning, and you may well possibly agree that they are very, very impressive. That call you're hearing now is the oxpeckers, and it looks like one of the youngsters is begging for a meal. Let's have a close. They've just disappeared behind the back, but the one youngster was really quite desperately begging. Let's have a look. It's in front now, following its mother there, Sens. Yeah. That's the one we can hear chattering away, I think. No, that's not the one. That one's just having some brekkie. There's another one chattering away wildly. I'm not too sure where it is. I'd love to know how many ticks these birds eat every day. I mean, it's a very high source of protein filled with blood. So a very nutritious meal, and I wonder how many of them they need to sustain themselves, and also what a good job they're doing every day in ridding the giraffes and lots of the other herbivores of these parasites. You see, they do kind of begin to bother a lot of the animals, especially when they start digging around the eyes, ears and nostrils, which is understandable. I could think of nothing better than having one of these things perched on my head, just preening my hair all day. One of those on my head and a tree squirrel in a crow's nest off the back antenna on the vehicle, just sitting there with an eye patch. And the reason why I'd like a squirrel up in a crow's nest situated on our antenna of the vehicle so it could help us spot leopards. Imagine how cool that would be, just cruising along and just wait for the squirrel to tick. I wonder what other animals I would employ onto my team. being on safari? An eagle of sorts. Which eagle would I choose? Maybe a bataleur, because they're really pretty and they're good at sourcing kills that they can then scavenge. It'd be nice to be able to deploy the bataleur in search of anything interesting. What else do you think we should add to our artillery of wild animals on the Safari Live team? Irene, you'd like to know if giraffes have got any kind of malicious side to them and will ever attack humans. I've only heard of one human being killed by a giraffe, and that was in a kind of wildlife estate. You get a few of these kind of eco-estates in South Africa. It's a big fenced area, and there's general game, nothing dangerous, that lives there, and it's obviously a very peaceful place to live. And one of the residents was taking their dogs for a walk. I think she had some kind of little ankle snappers like Jack Russells or something like that, and the dogs obviously went in and started giving this giraffe a hard time. And giraffes will use their feet, they'll slam their front legs down to try and stand up to any predators that may be giving them trouble. Not all the time, but they are known for doing it, and also kicking out with their back legs. And I mean, you've just seen how big that creature is. You do not want to receive a kick from a giraffe. And this, I think it was a lady, this poor lady obviously tried to rescue her dogs and got too close to a flaying hoof and caught one on the side of her head, and that was her direct ticket to the upstairs chambers. So that's the only time I've heard of it, and clearly it wasn't the giraffe being malicious or wanting to kill the human. It was just trying to keep the dogs away, and sadly the human caught a stray hoof. So no, they're peaceful animals, wonderful to walk up to on foot. They let you get quite close. Anyway, enough about that, and off to Steve.
Thanks very much, Scotty. We've managed to find quite a nice bird, folks. If you haven't seen one of these before, look at that very characteristic way that it runs along the ground. It doesn't hop. It's very characteristic of a thrush to run along the ground. Robin chats can look quite similar in the sort of their appearance, but they hop. They hop and hop and hop. Ground scraper thrush we have here. There's at least 3 of them, and very characteristic with that black line from the forehead through the eye, and then that very sort of stripy, streaky chest. And hence the name ground scraper, because they run around and they feed on insects off of the ground, which is quite obvious. Love it when they do what their name says. So they feed mainly on insects. They also scratch around a bit for earthworms. Earthworms that get pushed to the surface after some rainfall. Marvellous. For those of you who haven't got that bird before, is that a new one? I hope so. They really are beautiful. Maybe I'll play their call for you quickly, because it's quite a nice call. Have a little listen. Very nice indeed. And there were 3 of them, which makes me think that there's a breeding pair that then have got one fledgling. And we've got a little yoga visitor once again. He's come to say hello. Hello. He's looking at Ferg in the eyes. Isn't that marvellous, folks? 2 mornings in a row on a marula tree with some yoga stretching squirrels. They are very, very cute. Very cute. A friend of mine had a pet squirrel once, and it's definitely something, one of the pets I'd probably want in my life. They are very, very just affectionate, and I don't know, they're just super cool. They don't have a very long life, because essentially the smaller an animal is, the higher its energy is, and the higher its heart, or the faster its heart beats. So that is essentially what determines the longevity of an animal. Every heart has only a number of beats, and look at it. Look at the breathing rate there. You imagine that's 3-4 times ours easily. And it's not because it's scared, it knows it's perfectly out of reach of us. Very nice sharp claws for attaching itself to the tree. And once again, like I said yesterday, you wonder sometimes who is the tourist. Nikki, yes, it's very fluffy. He is, or she is, a very fluffy little individual, and they need to be. When you're as small as that, the energy that you lose through heat is phenomenal. So they need to keep a bit of a coat on them for when there's cold mornings or when it's winter. Otherwise, they'll just lose way too much heat during their activities and obviously freeze to death. Does he want to pounce on you, Ferg?
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah. Ferg's getting nervous. The squirrel has given some alarm calls. It is about to charge. Marvelous stuff. So, folks, those leopard tracks that we found, we had a look at them, and they headed off towards Vuyatela Dam, and there was some other activity on top of them, which made me think that they weren't as fresh as I thought initially, and they were probably from yesterday afternoon, and it's very likely that they are the tracks of Hukumuri, and they did find him at Vuyatela Dam. So we've moved off from the area, leaving Scotty D on his tracks, and we've made ourselves our way to Treehouse Dam in our attempt to get further south towards Chitwa Dam. So just checking all the water holes on our way down. You never know what could potentially be in and out. And while we continue on our way, we're going to go over to Miss McCurdy and see if she's had any luck with that beautiful leopardess.
We haven't had any luck at all, not even one leopard track just yet. So, my thoughts on the situation are, I wonder if Thandi's even come back yet after she dropped that little fluff ball off. So, I know Steve said yesterday that she was heading in a southeasterly direction towards the boundary. So we're going to go back. I think we might check Cheetah Cut Line all the way down and then check a section of Gowrie Man and then perhaps pop onto Leadwood. And just keep checking all these roads just until we pick up on some evidence of her. Because at the moment, I've gone and checked exactly where Scott said I must and go up and down that drainage line. Even if we were to find that cub, it's not like I can sit with her anyway. She's still a little bit too young to be viewed without adult supervision. So we gave it a bash and we had a little scratch around, but nothing just yet. So I think let's focus on seeing if we can find Thandi. Maybe she's still on the move. Maybe she hasn't caught any dinner just yet. That's also a possibility. What I can show you in the distance, though, no, Nina, you've asked what is the difference between a snow leopard and a wild leopard. Well, the leopards that we get are Panthera pardus. I'm actually not sure of what the snow leopard's Latin name is, but I'm going to search it now. Snow leopard. We'll have a look there. And I wouldn't be surprised if a snow leopard is slightly smaller. Thankfully, we found some elephants to keep us company while we have a look here. So I'm going to quickly read about snow leopard because I can't tell you that I know a huge amount about snow leopards. I'd love to see a snow leopard one day. Okay, there we go. Panthera Unkia. I don't know how to even say that. Unkia. Maybe that's how you say it, Unkia. Anyways, so it's of course one of the large cats. So there are not very many of them. Let's see about weight. So I just want to see if it's a bit larger. And of course the distribution will be a huge thing because we won't be finding any Panthera pardus leopards up in Afghanistan or India. So that's apparently where we find the snow leopards. Let's go, snow leopards. Tell us about how big you get. We go over here. No, that's not giving me the information. No, sometimes it's hard. I'm now searching on the interweb, which is maybe not the best thing. Oh, here we go. So they can weigh up to about 55 kilograms. Okay, so what's that? Just over 120 pounds. So about the size of more like the size of the Cape Mountain leopards. How sweet is this? Very nice. And at any moment, the behavior of these elephants could change, or perhaps they'll chase, or because they could chase Thandi out. So there's still definitely possibilities, even with these elephants around, that these leopards could still be here. They're all having quite a bit of fun in there, aren't they? Everybody's stuck around, feeding on one thing while the youngsters play. And we know that elephants are exceptionally social creatures. Isn't that sweet? You practicing goring your tusks into your opponent. I suppose it's more like gumming at this age, though. Those tusks are not really going to be causing any harm at all. Oh, I'm so sleepy still. Leave me alone. Oh, but I'm just trying to help you up, says the other one. Look, they're taking advantage. It is always funny with little elephants. I mean, we used to watch them play in the marsh, of course, in the Mara. And yeah, in South Africa too, and as soon as one elephant drops down to the floor, it's amazing how many more come around it and then try and stand on it, kind of like this, or push it around. You're going to climb over. Is this your jungle gym, your personal jungle gym? Now there's going to be a problem if the elephant underneath manages to stand up, although I don't think it will be able to until this one climbs completely over. I think it might be having a bit of a belly rub too. Well, it was. There we go, someone's coming around saying, "You hooligans, get away from me." Not interested in playing with the youngsters, that older one. Just wanting to do what an elephant does best and feed. And it is nice that there are a few youngsters of the same age, because at least they can keep one another company and push and shove each other around without bothering the adults too much. Definitely wanting to play. They remind me of those two bulls we had yesterday afternoon on the cut line. Getting ready to charge at one another. Now they're both fairly young. I think the one on the right is slightly older than the one on the left, just because it seems a bit taller, and you can also see more of its tusks. The little elephant on the left, you can only see its tusks when it folds its trunk back. Pushing and shoving. Man, what I would do to be an elephant for a day, that would be amazing. Oh, there we go. Mom's having a scratch. That's what she's doing now. Is that all? No, surely you're going to come back and have another rub. That looked like you enjoyed that. No, she's going to eat it now. Amazing what you can do with just one tree. Scratching device. Also feed yourself with all the lovely leaves. And then these little ones. Not interested in doing anything but playing with one another. Oh, careful you don't break that on your little ones' heads. That entire marula is about to come down on top of their heads. Mom, be careful. Now, we obviously watch elephants do all sorts of different things, from playing to eating. And Eileen, you were wondering, what is the favorite sort of food of an elephant, or do they have any that they prefer? Elephants are typically grazers, so I suppose it depends on what area they're in. So in the Mara, we saw them most of the time grazing and feeding on some small shrubs growing in the open sort of grasslands. And then when they would go to the forest, they would feed on completely different types of vegetation. They were going for a lot of fruit along the river. And here in the Mara, here in the Sabi sand, they feed on a variety of different things. So some of their favorite plants to eat are marula trees, especially at this time of the year, because they are dropping fruit. So it's kind of convenience to stand there, eat the fruit, and eat the leaf from the tree. We've also been seeing them eating a few silver cluster leaves, which are not necessarily the tastiest, and they got quite a bit of tannin in them, but just in small amounts. And then, of course, while there is grass around, because we know that the grass doesn't stay long in the Sabi sand, they're going to be trying to eat as much as that. Of that as they can. But elephants are predominantly bulk grazers. It's really sad when we have to watch them going from eating all this lovely lush green vegetation, from the grasses to the leaves to the fruits, to when winter falls upon us and we see them stripping bark off of trees, pushing trees over to feed on the roots and all sorts of bulbs that they've dug up from the ground. So their diet is a lot more varied here in the Sabi sand than it is in the Mara. I wish they were playing around this way, though. That would be nice. Oh, there we go. Bottom to bottom. Go on, rub your bums together. It's quite cool. Okay, we are going to carry on though, because I would like to find this leopard before it gets too hot today. It's exceptionally humid out here, and we do have a goal. And I know once that sun comes out, animals are not going to be moving around as much. And also now I can track a little bit better. It was a bit dark, and I couldn't see the footprints on the ground very well. There was just a couple of hyena tracks and some civet tracks, but no leopard tracks just yet. So I'm going to leave our lovely elephants. We might catch up with them a bit later if we don't pick up on anything else. Okay, so I think I might go all the way to Cheetah Cut Line. I think we're definitely going to do that. Okay, we're going to head towards the boundary now and do a quick a mini boundary patrol to see if we can find out where Thandi went, and hopefully we'll be able to pick her up. Let's go back across to one of the boys. Name starts with an S.
Yes, well, it's Scott, not Steve. Taylor was a little bit mysterious there with who you could have been going to. So, we found some more male leopard tracks. I'm not sure how fresh they are, and they're quite close to our western boundary. Look like they could have been Hukumuri's tracks. So, thinking of just kind of carrying on in this general area, seeing if we don't have any luck, and if we don't have any further sign here, I'm thinking of maybe going and giving Taylor a hand in the area of Thandi, try and increase the chances of getting her to see both Thandi and her cute little cub. Taylor's dying to see those two. So, if we take a look up there, we will have some wonderful, wonderful silhouettes of some vultures. And there's a vulture's nest quite close to here, so I'm wondering if it's not the kind of resident pair. It's just the fact that there's two vultures here doesn't necessarily mean that there's meat nearby. Of course, even hungry vultures need to sleep somewhere and wake up somewhere in the morning. So we can't read into too much of the fact that there are some scavengers here. And they'll be taking it easy, waiting until the sun rises, the earth warms up, the hot air thermals start to spiral up, and they will ride those thermals effortlessly until they find something tasty to eat. Wunderbar. Taking a slow start to the morning, doing a little bit of preening, and they're in no rush because they'll try and conserve as much energy as possible while not flapping about in the early hours of the morning when it's difficult for them to fly. Ah, Julie, you just mentioned that it looks like one of the Jungle Book pictures. It is a very iconic kind of safari scene. The old vultures silhouetted on a dead tree. I really do miss the Mara with regards to vulture viewing. That place was absolutely insane. You would have often 3 or 4 species of vulture, and in numerous numbers, swooping down on kills. Not so many here on Djuma. Although having said that, it is remarkable when there is a kind of big feast that's on the cards for any vultures. The word does spread very quickly, and there have been a few fairly decent vulture sightings here from vultures coming far and wide. Kendall, you'd like to know if vultures have got any predators, and ordinarily not really, but occasionally some strange things do happen out here. I've seen a photographic sequence of a black-backed jackal catching and killing a giraffe. They're obviously squabbling over a kill, so it's not that the jackal was necessarily seeking out a meal, but rather kind of just getting frustrated with the competing scavenger. And I've also seen also a photographic sequence of a young leopard climbing high up into some kind of a tree. I'm not too sure which one it was, and it ate a baby vulture out of the nest. So I guess baby vultures also can be attacked by a host of different smaller cat-like predators. Those are the only 2 examples that come to mind. Oh, that was a little yawn. I've never seen a vulture yawn. I'm not sure if any of you have. We may have just broken some boundaries. My favorite animal to see yawning, though, is the warthog, also known in German as a Wastenschwein. And the reason why I love a warthog's yawn, I'm going to have to ask Senzo to zoom out, and I'm going to have to transform myself into a warthog. They've got a very long mouth, a warthog, and when they yawn, they can't open their mouth wide like we can or a hippo. It's just like... Of course, they don't make that noise because nothing makes a noise like that when it yawns. It's more of a silent maneuver. But watching warthogs live with their heads just poking out of the burrow of the termite mound and then trying to open their little mouths as wide as possible is something that I really enjoy. We need to find a warthog den so we can show you that. The sun is beginning to peak above the clouds, so hopefully we'll have a wash of golden sunlight shortly. That'll be nice. And then all we need to do is find some leopards or something interesting to be illuminated by that beautiful morning glow. I just heard Taylor whispering something on the game drive radio. I'm not too sure what it was. Andrew, you'd like to know who has a kind of a stronger stomach when it comes to their abilities to digest whatever they put into their stomachs, vultures or hyenas. And I would say hyenas because of the fact that they need to be able to dissolve bone, whereas no vultures really eat bone. So yeah, I would say that, yeah, it's the hyena. But vultures must have fairly decent digestive juices to be able to process large hunks of meat that they haven't been able to chew. Just swallow them whole, as big as they can fit down their little gullets. So yeah, that would be my answer. I don't know any kind of specific stats regarding what's going on in their stomachs, but yeah, my guess would be hyena. Fairly confident about that. Now, another animal that I've been thinking about, so a specific female leopard, is the Ingrid Dam female. She's a beautiful young female, and the area we're kind of in now is where we have seen her in the past. Haven't had too many sightings of her, but it would be nice to get to know her better. Oh, sorry, I'm calling her by her old name. Her new name is Shidulu, which means Termitten Mound. It's quite a common name for leopards. You get a leopard in almost every reserve called Shidulu, because they like, a lot of leopards obviously like sleeping on termite mounds, using them as vantage points, so it's quite a widely spread word. Nice name, rolls off the tongue. Okay, Steve has found a bird, off you go before it flies away.
And we are back with us, and we are still adventuring. The birds are calling. There's a rattling testicular just there, Ferg. You can hear him calling. Very aggressive call. He's gone now. We stopped for a female redback shrike, but clearly she didn't get the memo and didn't decide to stay. But the birds are alive. Orange-breasted bush shrike. Hear the rattling testicular calling here. Heard the classes cuckoo calling just now. They go. They are favourites for breeding as brood parasites. Classes cuckoo, brood parasites for the masked weaver. So they are calling again, which means they want to keep breeding. Which means with this long grass, there's a very good chance we're going to get the weavers probably building another nest, because that's the material that they are using. So we're going to keep going. We're on our way to Chitwa, as I said before. But unfortunately, our birds don't want to be filmed. But that's okay. We will do what we can. Chris wants to know why we haven't heard any monotonous larks. I have no idea. I actually have no idea. It's possible that the conditions haven't suited. Animals will only call or only breed if the conditions are good. If the conditions are not good, they will not breed. Is that Taylor up there? It looks like we have a silhouette of Taylor making her way towards us. We have hyena tracks in the road. So birds will not breed if the conditions aren't suitable. And so far, well, until recently, the conditions were not suitable. So maybe if they do occur here, they will be back. I promise you, we will know as soon as they are, because as soon as they come back, they make an unbelievable racket, and they do not stop. Good morning, good people. How are you? Hi. What have you got?
No, you'll see where I marked female leopard tracks. They cross in at the junction there, but they go slightly more west.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to check at that.
We'll go in. Because Thandi came down towards the junction there.
It's definitely her, but I haven't seen anything coming back yet. I don't think
Okay,
she's
someone circled something just past that bush there. I don't know if that's from this morning.
Tracks from like two days ago. Or
well, good luck. We will see you all a little bit later. We will do. Have a beautiful morning. For those of you who didn't recognize the one individual in the vehicle, that was Faith, one of our directors, out for the morning to see what we do in Djuma. It's one of the privileges of being a staff member here, is the ability to come out and actually experience this wonderful place to be. You can see she's come from Kenya. It's a little bit cold for her this morning. She had a shuka on. I think it's one of James' most favorite possessions. I'm only kidding. Okay, so Taylor was down on our southern boundary here, and this is kind of the area just up here where we had Thandi last night. So Taylor's come to see if she can find where she's come from, and her tracks are heading in that direction and have crossed sort of into Chitwa, Little Gowrie. So we are now just entering into Chitwa. We're going to head down to the dam as we are wont to do, and we will see what updates there are. I'll also have a little chat with the rangers on the radio shortly and see if there's any updates for them, for us, so that we can hopefully show you something spectacular this morning. But if not, we will continue on birding, and we'll find a tree or two, and no doubt to talk about some grass and ecology. So while we continue on and get my update for Chitwa, we're going to go to Taylor for an update.
Well, good luck, Steve. I hope you managed to find Thandi. I think she's in there. I have just heard a couple of birds alarming now too, but I don't know if it's anything too serious. No, it doesn't sound too serious, but we will see what happens. I'm just having a little look. It's always so important to listen to what the birds have to say. Sometimes the squirrels, not all the time the squirrels. But no, I don't know if there's a leopard here. I'm pretty sure Thandi's somewhere. She's between I think she might be between Little Gowrie and Chitwa. I haven't seen anything coming through. Now, I believe you all love Faith's shuka. It is beautiful. It's a lovely colour. Very nice. Can I just show you a piece? There we go. It's nice. What do you think about me? Does it suit me? Nah. It's more Faith's colour than mine. I'll just take the blue part. Of course, Kirsten's got a comment. She says that it brings out my eyes. Thank you. So now I don't know what to do. I'm thinking, I think I missed, have I? No. Might jump onto Leadwood and just circle around here, because what could be happening is that Thandi could still be out on the prowl. Perhaps she wasn't successful last night, and maybe she's going to catch something. Just not lots of impala, lots of bushbuck around here, and inyala. So we will probably just keep circling around and hope that we'll get her at some point, and also we'll get an update. However, Steve is finding all the animals today. He's got an elephant.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Taylor. We have got a young male elephant, probably in his early 20s, and he is at the base of, yes, you guessed it, a magnificent marula tree, and he's clearly feeding on the fruits. It is that time of year where the elephants are absolutely loving the marulas. So are we, by the way. We stop whenever we can to pick up some ripe and fresh ones. Very high in sugar. It's like candy to an elephant, except much more nutritious. What would be a trip to Chitwa Dam without an elephant bull? Avon Wishes would like to know what's the heaviest weight that an elephant can pick up with its trunk. That is a very good question. Their trunk weighs about 100 kilograms, so just over 200 pounds, and they can definitely deal with more weight than that with the trunk. So I'm not sure. I know in India, elephants were domesticated and used a lot for the movement of logs and for whatever it is, but African elephants are not domesticated in any way. But I don't know. But I would say they'd be able to pick up equivalently their own trunk weight, even more perhaps. But it's not just the picking up strength, it's the pulling strength that is what's so phenomenal about an elephant's trunk. When they grab onto something with their trunk, it's like a very, very strong clamp or arm, and then they use their body weight to pull it back. Even the twisting of the head, they'll often hold something and put it between their tusk by using their trunk, and that's just the twist of the head on the tusk breaks whatever it is that they need. So very, very versatile. And I think what's most special about the elephant's trunk is not how strong it is, but how delicate it can be. Very, very delicate. Picking up very small things on the ground there, probably primarily by smell. And you can see how relaxed he is. Not at all bothered by our presence. As they say, a happy dog wags his tail, a happy pay attention. If the tail gets stiff and starts moving from side to side, then he is getting quite agitated. You'll often see that long before there's any other change in the behavior. Loving the marulas. And the marula is doing its job, providing the fruits. The elephants will swallow numerous amounts of them, and whenever you find a pile of elephant dung, I'm pretty sure I've seen a few people going through the piles of dung, but you'll find the fruits inside almost untouched, just a bit of the sugar and juice removed, but the seeds themselves finding themselves in a very nice nutrient-rich patch of elephant dung and distributed far away from the parent plant. So the whole objective of a tree producing fruit is to limit the competition with the adults. PT Watcher wants to know if the squirrels store marula fruit for winter. Yes, they do. They will store all sorts of fruits and nuts for winter, but our winters are not like European or American winters where there's absolutely no food in the winter months. They will store to bulk up, but we do still get quite a few plants out here that actually utilize the winter months to provide food. We don't get snow or frost in the low veld, so we never actually have a complete dormant stage. There are quite a few plants that will produce fruit later on, and the object of that is to limit not just the distribution but the pollination effect. Some trees out there will produce flowers and fruit pretty much whenever they want to. They have a huge bulk amount and they don't really mind who pollinates, whereas others want to limit the amount that they give out and they don't want to waste, so they'll only show flower when only their species is producing, and they generally target a a certain insect or a bat, for example, and it's a very short turnaround time, and they produce flowers where no one else is producing flower, and so attract a certain species, and then their fruits are also produced at a time when others don't have, so their fruits are distributed accordingly. Plants are actually extremely clever. As clever as elephants, I would say. Marvelous. Well, as this big elephant bull meanders off away from us, having his fair share of marula from this fruit, from this tree, no doubt he's headed to the grove of marulas I see up ahead. He wanders off with his wagging tail. And so shall we, down to Chitwa Dam, to see what we might be able to find there. Do I think Ellies can remember forever, Tina? I think they remember everything. Everything. Unless they get senile. I do believe it's been told that elephants can get senile in their old age. I don't know, Ferg, if you can see that bird there, just flittering around in that small tree. Zoom in, yeah, to the right. Down and right. Right. A little bit more. Up a bit. There he is. Chin spot Battis, ladies and gentlemen. An absolutely beautiful example. His call, he almost says his name, Chin spot Battis. So yes, elephants, they say their memory goes on, and I do believe so as well. There are certain individuals I know as guides who have had interactions with elephants, and the elephant hasn't liked them for some reason, and when that individual goes away for 6 months or a year, that animal comes back and reacts the same when they see him as when they last saw him. Versus not reacting to me as they do to him. I think they remember. They've got very long memories, and you can see through behavior characters are developed, and I think elephants, they don't forget. The term they don't forget, I think, is very, very relevant. And very elephant. Thank you, Ferg. So the chin spot Battis is a very small flycatcher-like bird. Really, really cute they are. That was the male that we saw there, and I can only tell you that because he didn't have any brown underneath the chin, which is what the female has. Chin spot Battis, a really cute bird. They make a beautiful little cup nest out of cobwebs and sometimes a little bit of lichen, and they are here all year round. Haven't seen one in ages. You hear them all the time. So folks, as I said, we're heading down towards Chitwa Dam. Did not forget, and we're going to Taylor see what she has for you this morning.
Nothing yet. We will eventually get something though. I was just concentrating, looking at tracks. Did see some female leopard tracks, but I'm not convinced that they're super fresh. We're on Weaver's Nest now, so we just have a little scratch here. I think maybe. I'm trying to think. If we go straight down Weaver's Nest, Scotty says he had some female leopard tracks as well that he's following up on. So we're sort of moving into the area now. They did come out of Little Gowrie though. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I need to still get back into the swing of things and remember the favourite routes of these animals. Oh, here's Scotty now. Copy. Thanks, Scott. Okay, so Scott was just saying he hasn't got any more tracks from where he is going sort of north or east. So, I don't really know. Maybe we will check. I don't know if we're going to check. No, I don't think we'll go and check the Treehouse Dam. We might check Elephant Carcass all the way back around to Twin Dams Road. And just have another scratch. If she's on the move, we could just keep missing her. I mean, how many times have we had that happen to us where we just keep driving around the leopards or the lions as they're crossing through some of these massive areas where there aren't any roads. So that's going to be our challenge this morning. See if we can find this leopard. But it does make it easier when there's two of you looking for the same animal. Got a better chance. And I have not practiced my tracking for quite some time either. But we'll give it a bash. We will give it a bash. Well, I'm going to be listening out for alarm calls from birds or perhaps a bushbuck or a kudu and anything else that's going to point me in the direction of a leopard. Finally, Steve has made it down to Chitwa Dam.
Finally, indeed, we had a few elephant on the way and some birds to ponder over, but we're indeed at the dam as we watch the ever-present hippos in the glistening water. They've just probably returned home in the last hour or so from their night of foraging to continue their days of laziness. What a life, hey folks? You walk around, get some exercise, eat a mouthful or two of grass, and then you spend the rest of the time chilling in the dam. Tess wants to know, why is it called a dam and not a pond or a waterhole? A dam is a large man-made structure with a dam wall. A pond essentially could be constructed by man as well, but essentially a dam is something created in a drainage line / river, somewhere where there's a bit of a catchment, and then they dam that section to create a dam wall. And then obviously the water pools up behind it, and that is where we get a dam from. A pond is generally a natural occurrence that could occur purely because of mud removal by large herbivores such as elephant, buffalo, warthog, and that could lead to a little waterhole / pond. Ponds can also be created, and I hope that's answering your question. But all of them are waterholes. They're all waterholes. Waterholes are a body of water, really, where animals come to drink. There are a lot of man-made waterholes within the savanna biome where people purposefully pump water so as to provide water for animals. We do live in a seasonal rain area where we don't always get moisture. Some of the rivers that run through these parks don't have water all year round, and so to facilitate the animals and to facilitate the survival and movement of them, waterholes have been put in. South Africa actually has more dams than any other African country. But they are all, in fact, waterholes. Always playful, these little hippos. As I was saying, wouldn't that be lovely to just be able to feed for free and then to swim all day, not a worry in the world. I think the only thing hippos worry about is their image, hence they only feed at night when no one can see their beautiful, beautiful faces. Allude to a story I almost told the other day, but the Bushman's tale. The Bushmen, or the San people, are indigenous hunter-gatherers to the southern African region, and they've got some wonderful tales and stories of animals, and they tell the story of the hippo, and they say the hippo was the last animal created by their creator, and they put together all the bits and pieces of the other animals. And when the hippo saw its reflection in the mirror, it was horrified at its size, at its big mouth, at its ugly teeth, at its small beady eyes and funny looking ears, and it went to the creator pleading, Mr. Creator, please, can you do something for me? I can't be seen like this. All the animals will laugh at me every day and every night. And so the Creator said, certainly, hippo, what can I do to make your mind at ease? And the hippo said, Mr. Creator, you can make me live in the water, and I'll come out at night to feed. And the creator said, "But Mr. Hippo, with a mouth the size of yours, there is no way. You will eat all of the fish. You will eat all of the frogs. You will be a threat to the crocodiles. How can we be sure you will not eat all of these things?" And Hippo said, "Mr. Creator, every night when I come out, I'll prove to you that I do not feed on fish by spreading my dung on the pathways as I leave to show you there are no fish bones in the contents." And so, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of the hippo. So we're going to stay right here. We might move around a bit to get some more angles, but I believe Taylor McCurdy has got something special to show you.
Yay, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. Not with Thandi, I'm afraid. It looks like our dear friend Hosana. I could be mistaken, though, but let's just have a look. I did see a very pink nose, golden eyes, and, well, a very stocky leopard. Well, the last time I remember, Thandi was not the stocky. But it does look like Hosana. What do you think, Seb? You're not convinced?
The pink nose, Tamba also got that pink nose.
I know, but Tamba's eyes are a bit more blue, and he's... I don't know. We'll have a look. I think it's Hosana. Right, so we're going to go with Hosana for now. But that's who it looks like to me. And that's very impressive. He's got a kill, too. Can you believe it? He's caught a common daker, which is fantastic news for us. And you can see it just hanging off the side of the tree. And he's eaten a fair amount of it already. So I don't know how long he's been here for. So what alerted us to this is we did see some leopard tracks crossing in, but I wasn't sure how fresh they were. And, I was not sure how fresh they were, so we just sort of followed, and then I was thinking to myself, there's a termite mound that Thandi loves to lay about off elephant carcass. And I thought, let's give it a bash. And as we came through here, a francolin got the fright of its life and flew into the tree and was panicking, as you can imagine. And then I stopped to listen and to try and have a little squiz around. And then, thank goodness, we had Faith on the car this morning. And because she's sitting high up, she was able to see over the tall grass. And she said she just saw spots, which was fantastic. Look how he's... What are you snarling at? You snarling at a bird or another leopard? Let me go forward, Seth. Let's just have a quick look here as to why he's looking down on the ground and snarling. Who else is here? Let's go in and have a look. Oh, interesting. To engage 4x4. Seb, do you trust me? Says Sebastian. Some days, yes. Everybody just be careful, we're going to go through here. It is the Tambuti tree, so there's a few little spines, but no. Here we go, Faith. Can I give that to you? Pull back that. Oh, sorry, everybody. There'll be a little... Everybody...
Sorry about the gremlins you might be experiencing there with Taylor, but we have just come across a little hole in the bank. We're just below Chitwa Dam, and we saw a brown-hooded kingfisher emerge from that hole. There was a second one with it in the tree, and as soon as we got close, they moved off. So it's very likely that they might have a chick or two inside that hole, and they are coming backwards and forwards to feed it. If you were with me the other night on Bushwalk, we spoke about how kingfishers, for example, the grey-headed and the brown-hooded, like to nest in riverbanks like this. They'll create these cavities in the sand, and that is where they breed their chicks. And the way that the chicks defend themselves, because it is not the most inaccessible hole, that it's about 1/2 foot from the top of the ridge, and would be easily gotten into by any sort of predator. But how they do it is that the youngster defecates pretty much everywhere at will, and inside there is revolting. So if a predator is willing to eat a defiled animal, that is the hole they will go into to grab it. Well, we just thought we'd wait a moment and see if the parents came back. And if they did, they'd probably land on one of the branches nearby with an insect or something like that before going in to feed. Some fresh activity. You can see the soil is disturbed there, and just below the hole, Ferg, you can see all of that sediment there that's been scooped out by the actively digging parents. Marvelous, marvelous. So when we talk about habitat requires food, it requires a life, an area to spend your life, and also the necessary things for breeding. So the niche of an animal requires that if you look at its breeding, if there are no riverbanks, if there are no sandbanks, then these birds would not be able to breed. So this is a natural sort of system where erosion takes place due to the movement of water. Birds have found those to their advantage. Larvae, is that the name, Kirst? Ravi wants to know, do they not get eaten by monitor lizards? And a monitor lizard is probably the biggest threat to a bird like this. They would quite easily be able to get in there, but the birds hopefully are hoping that the smell will keep them away. It clearly works to a degree, but then there are nest raiders wherever you go. So no bird is safe in its nest, but in numbers and through sheer number of species breeding, hopefully some of them will get forward in the population. But that is how it works. You get a balance in nature of predators versus prey, and just like if there were not enough insects, there would be less kingfishers, and hence the same with the predators. And talking about predators, I think Taylor has sorted out her gremlins. We're going to go back over to her and the little prince.
Right, we've got two leopards. We figured out what Hosana was growling at, and that is Thandi. Thandi has just walked out from behind us, out of the drainage line. And so, I don't know if she's going to stay here for long, but Kirst, can you tell Scotty D that she's walking back towards Weaver's Nest from Elephant Carcass, and she's scent marking. Shall we go have a little look at Thandi, because we know he's not going to go anywhere. How great is this? Let's do that quickly. Everyone watch the Tamboti tree behind you. So what we'll do is we'll stay with Hosana, and we will give Thandi to Scott, because he can follow her, or vice versa. Scott can come here to Hosana, and we can follow Thandi. But there she is. Hi, big girl. Oh, wow. She's going to come right up to the car. Look how relaxed she is. Is it No. Are you? It does look very much like Thandi. It might be. I haven't seen Shadow for a very long time either. So I'm not exactly sure, but quite happy to squeeze right past the car. It does look like Thandi, but I haven't seen these cats for such a long time either. So I might make a mistake.
Yeah, she's right behind the
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
She's now paused.
Yeah.
Let me go. I'm going to go forward. Hope there's no stump on that side. How cool is this? What a day. Oh, no. Cool. Let me quickly just turn around here. That's amazing. All in one. Yeah. So I can still remember how to track it. I can still remember how to do all sorts of things. It's amazing. There we go. There's Hosana up top there. James, you said perhaps it was Thandi's kill. Maybe it could quite have well been. However, I do remember seeing male leopard tracks come in on Leadwood, and then they popped out again. And I'm pretty sure I saw yesterday afternoon male leopard tracks going up and down in this area too on my way to Chitwa, but we weren't able to find anything. So I don't know. He could also have been here, because Thandi doesn't look very fat. But Hosana has got a big bulging belly. You can't take away Hosana's credit. Okay, Kurs, can you tell, will you please tell Scotty that he can come to Hosana, just because I'm going to keep up with Thandi because he's not here. Hosana's in the tree. He'll see my vehicle tracks, literally from Weaver's Nest onto Elephant's Carcass. on the southern side of the road. You'll get the visual. We're going to try and stick with this girl because we're going to lose Thandi otherwise. So I'll take the mobile sighting. Right, we're going in again. And if stations, just a quick update. We've got Thandi and Hosana. Scott's going to be relocating on Hosana, and I think Taxon's also heading that way. Just on Elephant Carcass, on the southern side of the road. If you come from Weaver's Nest, it's not far. I'm following Thandi. She's gone off Elephant Carcass, moving in a easterly direction now. Should I go back slightly? Yeah, I can see her. There she goes. All the birds alarming now. Who was asking about if you can be allergic to cats? Possibly. That wasn't even a fake sneeze this time. I'll watch her again. Hi, big girl. There we go. How cool is that? Mario, you said we're picking up from last night, where we left the Leopard extravaganza. We're very lucky there. That was very cool. Thandi, can you please just tell us what happened? Was that your kill, and did Fatso and the tree steal it from you? It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Hosana's going to try and take these opportunities when he can. But like I said, there were male leopard tracks around here. And Hosana's a great hunter. I mean, he's been catching all sorts of things. And he's had a couple of meals, I think, stolen away from him by Tingana. Off Thandi goes. You hear all the testiculars all shouting at her now. They're very unhappy with her presence. Tail in the air. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. This is the fun part. Now, my favorite bit about this is that Faith has never been on an off-roading mission after leopards. Well, be swatted in the face by many branches. Right, Steve is on a birding mission this morning. He's taken over from Scott. Scott's on his way to Hosana, but Steve has got one of the prettier birds in the bush.
Yes, we do have one of the pretty birds. It's just moved behind the tree. But aren't you all very fortunate to have seen Thandi and Hosana? We wonder who took the deka up the tree, or who stole the deka, should we say. My guess is that Hosana stole from Thandi, pulling moves like his father. We've got some beautiful birds over there that I'm hoping to try and show you, but you just need to bear with me because we're going through a little bit of a very wet patch here. So hold on, Ferg. This is going to get a little bit muddy. Hopefully we're not going to get stuck because there's the snipe just in front of us here. Just got to get out of the mud. Sorry about that. That is not the bird we'd seen before, but there is the painted snipe. Just in the little bushes there. We might get another visual if we are patient. Just gone in over there. But what we had before that we had perfectly framed, but that just moved around the corner, was a beautiful pair of saddle-billed storks. So I'm being very patient. I'm a little bit disappointed though this morning because we came down from Vuyatela and we went on a couple of roads that were not Elephant Carcass that Taylor is on, where she found Hosana. But that is the beauty of covering the area. We need to drive all the roads, and just as well Taylor went back over some roads that I didn't manage to get to, and she's able to show you a beautiful sighting of the little prince who I've yet to see on my return back to Djuma. So there it is, Ferg. He's just coming out on the right there now. Straight in there. There we go. The painted snipe with a typical little bum wobble. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that spectacular? Tristan told me about a month ago to come to this exact little pan to find the snipes, And I've done it a few times, but I've yet to get one. So this for me is quite special. It's been quite a while since I've seen a snipe. And we're going to stay here, maybe get another visual of those beautiful saddleboard stalks. But while we do that, we're going back to Scott, who I believe has managed to relocate on Hosana.
Yes, we've just got into position. We saw Taylor heading off in the opposite direction with Thandi, and well done to her, because this is absolutely epic stuff. As you can kind of see, Hosana is making his way down from the tree now. And this is a very, very tricky area. This is the same area Hukumuri had a kudu kill not too long ago, and it's incredibly thick here. But what I'm hoping, excuse me, is going to happen is that Hosana is maybe going to head for a drink at the treehouse waterhole. The kill is safely up the tree. Failing that, he may just decide to lie down somewhere in this thick kind of riverbed area below us. I'm not too sure. I wonder whether he stole the kill from Thandi or whether Thandi actually just came in onto the scene. And I'm told a lot of you guys all think that it was Hosana who stole the kill. I mean, there is a strong chance, but there's an equally good chance that he made the kill and she just responded to the noise that the duiker would have made when he caught it. Where was it, Sens? Behind us. The tree, the leopard.
Yeah, it's behind the tree.
Lying down.
It's standing.
Okay, it's incredibly thick here, guys. I thought we might be able to snipe a view, but Senzo says the leopard is somewhere behind this tree. Just standing for now. It's a nightmare of an area, very difficult to negotiate. But like I say, hopefully he might go for a drink or pop himself out somewhere in the open where we can see him. Okay, nice, Sens. Well, apparently he's moving in a direction we really don't want him to, because I know from having tried to get visuals of Hukumuri here that it's incredibly tricky, if not impossible. Nina, you... Ooh. I just got tambuatied on the top of the head there. You'd like to know if I think they've got a love-hate relationship. No, I think it's a hate-hate relationship, because Thandi's got no reason to love Hosana in any way. She probably doesn't even really know who he is, even though it is her sister's offspring. That doesn't really mean it's got anything to do with her, so she really won't like Hosana in any shape, way or form, in my opinion. Okay. Let's see if we can sneak a view around here. There is another little spot where we can kind of sneak in here and snipe downwards. Again, lots of squeezing in and out required here. Okay, good. Well, we're going to try and get you guys a view of young Hosana, and while we do that, we are going to send you across to Steve with a hammerkop.
Thank you very much, Scotty. I hope you managed to get a better visual of Hosana there. We have managed to navigate the quagmire that is this road, and we have found a beautiful pair of hammerkops on top of the nest, doing a little bit of re-thatching. On the top, the male and the female are pretty much identical. There's not much to see. Male's a little bit bigger, but it's very hard to tell the difference between them. Definitely a pair. And there's at least two nests in this tree. Why they would have built two right next to each other, I'm very unsure of. Two of them there. We saw them the other day. I had a African harrier hawk coming out of here. We're going to go over quickly to Thandi before we lose her visual.
We are worried that we're going to lose her because she's just given us a serious run around. I have not off-roaded like we are doing at the moment for a very long time. She's stopped. She's just smelling something. She's scent marking as she goes along too. I'm hoping we've chosen the right path here and she's going to come straight down towards us. Good girl. Well, she is slinking back and forth. I think she's looking for something to eat. So maybe even if she can just catch something like a little scrub hare or a daker would be ideal. That would be nice for the two of them. Or perhaps even something a bit larger, an impala. My goodness, I do apologize. I cannot stop sneezing this morning. The allergies, it must be all the grass seeds that are around at the moment. But I'm still astounded that we've managed to see two leopards. I was getting a bit worried, I must be honest. I thought, oh, we're not going to see anything today. And then look, surprise, here she comes. She's going to pop out. She might just go behind the car, but she's just in there. I can see her moving. And that camouflage is incredible. I don't know where I am, Kirsten, and I don't know if Taxon is going to find me because she's about to cross a drainage. I think she's heading back towards Mamba Road. So yeah, I'm in the middle of a massive block and I'm going to try and stick with her, but there's no point coming in from my angle because we're going to hit a huge drainage, just trying to help the other guides get in here. But I don't really know how to explain where I am because it is very thick. I'm going to have to turn on my privacy, turn my location settings on very quickly, and I'll have a look on a map. These guys can be just a little bit patient. Goodness. Right, let me try to turn around again quickly. I think I should be able to get a view of her now. Here she is. So we'll just sit here. I'm going to quickly just look exactly where I am on the map. See if I can get hold of stations. I'm still following Thandi through the thicket. We're basically between Elephant Carcass and Twin Dams. She looks like she's making her way towards Twin Dams, but we're in Makulu Flatin at the moment. So I can definitely have some more vehicles joining me if you'd like. Yeah, it's a huge area. I'm not interested, so I just want to turn the radio right down because otherwise everybody keeps asking for directions. But unfortunately, it's going to be a very hard sighting to actually find because we're in a huge block. And she's walking straight. She's going slowly towards Twin Dams, but we've got a couple of drainage lines to get to before we even get there. Now, Annie, you've asked this morning if Hosana were to have found Thandi's cub, would he kill it? I don't think so. I feel like he's still quite young. I mean, he's only just turned 2. He's 2 and a bit now. So I don't think so. I really feel like he still acts like a youngster, even though, of course, he's catching big things now. I don't think he's going to have that natural instinct right away. So we'll see, because he still goes around Tingana, and he obviously hasn't had too much of a bad experience with a big male leopard before, that he's not terrified of them. So no, I don't think he would kill it. He'd probably be intrigued by it. But again, I don't know. It's hard to say. We can only really guess. Okay, off we go again. See if we can find her. I hope she does take us to her cub. That would be ideal. It would be really nice, but we're still quite a way off. But we'll try and keep up with her for most of the morning. Oh, hang on, there's a road here. Tax, she's popping out, I think, on Twin Road. Hang on, stand by. Oh, I don't actually know. No, it is a road. It is Twin Dams. Where is she now? Is she gone here? Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to try and get Tax into the sighting because it's going to be easy to follow her with 2 of us. I'm going to send you back across to Steve to see how Chitwa is treating him.
Thank you very much, Taylor. We are still with our Hammerkops, and the one has gone inside. I believe, I'm guessing, the female has gone inside. the low angled hole, which the bird has to fly from quite low up to go straight in, makes it quite inaccessible for things to get in there. And the other one is on its way back, is about to land on top of the nest, has brought back some nesting material. Let's see if, there we go, there's his head. Done this 2 or 3 times already in the last 10 minutes. Accumulated all sorts of dry, sticky material, which they continuously add to the nest while the breeding is happening. So I'm very interested to see that there's 2 nests next to each other like this. They can take 40 days to build them, but sometimes longer than that, as you saw with Taylor's hamerkop in Masai Mara, were taking forever. But a really, really elaborate process. They will stick together these sticks like a lattice work or a wicker work of sticks, 650 millimeters long, interlacing them to form a roof, and then slowly but surely, with more and more material added, the male starts to bring mud, which the female then lines the inside of the nest with to insulate it. Now, the advantages of such a nest that requires such a huge amount of maintenance and effort mean that the adults don't have to spend as much time incubating the eggs, and the chicks are well insulated inside once they hatch. So it is a very good advantage for them, but what an effort it takes. It is the most bizarre and unusual nest, and the largest nest built by a pair of birds in the world, I believe. Such a pretty bird. I think we're all quite fond of the hamerkop as it positions its stick, because it wasn't good enough where it was. No, there we go. That's much better than it was before. No, hang on. Let's put it over there. That is sublime. Oh. So they spend a whole lot of time putting this together. Mina wants to know which birds build well-constructed nests other than weavers. The Cape Penduline tit designs probably the most unusual nest out there. I'll try and show you a picture. But then also all the flycatchers, the battises, the shrikes, all of them build cup nests. They're quite intricately made, but not into a weaver-like effect. But yeah, it is difficult. The weavers make probably the most elaborate style of nests, but this bird that I can show you on the screen now, Cape Penduline tit, makes probably one of the coolest nests in the world, and that's made out of all sorts of stuff, including wild cotton and spider webs. And what we have over here is in fact a false entrance, and in the top of the nest here, in the top of the nest, where this false entrance is over here, snakes and things will try to go into the false entrance, and then there's a whole false chamber at the top. But the bird itself knows to go in underneath the false entrance, and the actual egg-laying area and where the chicks are is under there. So what's interesting is we talk a lot about brood parasites. Weavers have an enormous amount of brood parasites. That's why their nests have evolved to be so elaborate. But this bird, the Cape Penduline tit, does not have a single brood parasite, because first of all, the brood parasite, if it did lay an egg, it's climbing into the wrong chamber, and so that egg will not be maintained or looked after by the adults, and also the predators are not able to get in. So this it's not huge, but it's probably equal in size to the average weaver nest for quite a small bird. I'll show you a picture of the Cape Penduline tit if we want to go back there. He is a very pretty bird, and very, very small. They are about as small as they come, 9 to 10 centimeters, 7.5 grams. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so from us and the hamerkops, we are going to move on now and see what other wonders await us in Chitwa. I saw a vulture in the distance, and I believe Taylor McCurdy has managed to maintain her sightings with Thandi. We're going to go back over there.
Spaghetti Junction is like maybe 50 meters from where I am, Scott. I just passed it. Sorry, everybody. I do know I'm live. I'm just trying to figure out where Thandi's gone and talk on the radio. Oh, you see her? 11 o'clock. Scott, can you reverse maybe another 50 meters? She's, I don't know if you can see, there's a big, not a massive leadwood, but there's a rather large leadwood on the southwestern bank from where you are. So just trying to help Scott. Okay, we'll stay here because Seb's got her. Scott's come to join us, and he's actually gone down into the Mulwati. So what will happen, and that helps us a lot, because we can keep an eye of her up here and watch where she goes. She's stalking something. Has she spotted something? She's standing very, very still. See how she's sitting down slightly? Scott, I think she's maybe spotted something. She's sort of static in the pounce position at the moment. So we're just watching. But she's quite far away from us, so that's actually really good. That's what we want. We don't want to be sitting on top of her. If she has spotted something, she has made a kill. If she's going to make a kill. But she looks very, very focused. And barely moving. Now, it is so thick here. It is so dense. It's a bit difficult to tell where she is and how we're going to get there. Because all I can see is lots of fallen stumps on the ground. We don't want to be hitting one of those. That'll be a disaster. But a lot of the animals, like bushbuck and duiker and steenbok, do hang around on the edges of drainage lines. But unfortunately, the big cats are not the most successful when it comes to hunting. They do give it a good bash when they can. And it can take multiple attempts before they actually do something. But I don't know, she could have just stopped and paused. Maybe she was just listening. She does look like she's moving her feet quite slowly. I don't know if Scott can see something from where he is. Maybe in the Mulwati, because he's down below us. Could also be lots of Inyana around. Maybe there's just a little scrub here or something. But it's quite hard to tell. I mean, all this dense foliage is not great for us, and all the tall grass. It almost looks like she's looking down on the ground. Do you think so, Seb?
She's looking down.
She's just looking down. She doesn't look like she's maybe spotted something so far away. Maybe it's something really small. Maybe it is a scrub hare. I can hear Scott. He's down below us. Okay, cool. So they are having a little look around. Now we have to play the patience game. But again, I can't see anything. It's going to be quite difficult to try and get in there. Just trying to see where there aren't any stumps. I'm obviously not going to move now, though. And that's something important to remember, is once an animal does start stalking, you've got to limit your movement. You actually shouldn't be moving at all. You've got to sit nice and still, nice and quiet. Obviously we can talk. They are used to us talking, but you're not going to be shouting out or anything like that. And you most certainly don't want any vehicles coming in crashing, because they might give whatever she's looking at a fright and it might run away. And that's the hardest thing to do as a guide, is to try and come in as slowly and as quietly as you can, because that is honestly the last thing that we want to happen. But accidents do happen. We do make mistakes every now and then, but we learn from them. Look at how she's moving her body so slowly. And no birds around. There are a few. Sounds like some crested francolins that are calling, but not an alarm call. No testiculars up on top, shouting. Oh no, someone has spotted her now. As I said that, I may have jinxed her. But they will be in here feeding all these ground-dwelling birds. There's lots of grass seeds. That's what they'll be eating at the moment. It's tough for a predator. Now, as we sit and we wait for the leopard to make her next move, Dale, you've asked, is the primary way for a leopard to kill its prey suffocation? Yes, that's the main way. Unfortunately, they don't have as powerful of a bite force as a lion does. So sometimes if it's small prey, I mean, a lion just needs to bite down on the back of its neck and can literally crush the vertebrae and kill it like that. The same thing would go for if this leopard were to catch a scrub hare, even something as small as a steenbok. They would be able to, the best way, of course, is to suffocate them so they can't distress. But if it's small enough, the most efficient way would be to just sort of break their necks, essentially. And a leopard, a lion, any of the predators want to kill their prey as quickly as possible, because the longer it stays alive, you can imagine, the prey will be fighting for its life to get away. And that could mean a horn, could essentially stab a leopard or a lion, a tusk, claws, if it's, I mean, I wouldn't like to be scratched in the face by a scrub hare. I think that could still hurt. So, especially if they're flailing around trying to get away. Cool. Well, apparently we're going to be doing a action broadcast. We'll see how this goes. I'm just going to sit quietly now. Good morning, everybody, and of course, welcome to the Sabi Sand in South Africa, the land of the leopards, where that's exactly what we've got, hiding in the grass. As we pull away, it becomes quite difficult to even notice that there's a leopard there. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me is Sebastian, and we're very, very excited this morning. This is a leopard by the name of Thandi, and she's a well-known leopard in this area, and she's got a very young cub. Now, she's in a position that makes me think that she's spotted something. The way that her entire body is tensed up. She looks like she's going to get ready to pounce at any moment, but I don't know what she's looking at. We've got Scott Dyson down in the Mulwati, which is a dry riverbed. He's managed to drive down in that in hope that if she does go chasing or running down that way, he'll be able to pick her up, because it is very, very thick here and it's very, very difficult for us to off-road around here. Now, even though it's not the greatest view, we're not going to go any closer than this. And for those of you who have only just joined us for the first time for one of these specials, it'll be great to have chats to you. You can actually ask me any questions, because this is a live and interactive show. All you have to do is comment away, and I look forward to hearing from all of you. Matt, you've said that these videos are the best, and they are, because they're sort of just in the moment, spur of the moment, if you will. We never know when they're going to happen, which is what is the most exciting. Hopefully we'll have some serious action happening. But the thing with leopards and hunting is that they need to get right underneath their prey in order to have the best chance of springing up into the air and pouncing down onto whatever may be lurking in the grass or the bushes. And for her to do that, she needs to be patient. So that means we have to be patient too. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes a hunt can happen in 3 seconds. You blink and you open your eyes and they've caught something. Sometimes, and it's happened to me before, where I've sat with a big male leopard for 3 hours and he was tensed up like this outside a warthog burrow. So wonder what we're going to have in store for us today. She definitely needs to catch something. She's not too thin, but she needs a meal, especially that she's got a young cub that's only a few months old, who, if she does make a kill, hopefully she'll lead us back towards it, which will be really amazing to see that bundle of fluff. I have yet to see her youngster, and I cannot wait. But it's also very, very exciting to be back in the Sabi Sand with all the leopards, and I've seen leopards every single day. We are so lucky out here. I don't know if she's seen something small that's maybe hiding away underneath a shrub, like a scrub hare. It could be a little duiker or a steenbok, which are two types of antelope. Maybe they're just sitting in the grass. Perhaps they had a suspicion that something was moving around, and they thought that, well, we better just sit very quietly in the tall grass. Ingrid, you're wondering if she could hear me talking? Well, I'm speaking quite softly, in fact. She can hear me talking, she can hear all the birds chirping, she'll probably hear the wind rustling through the grass as well. So she can hear a number of different things. But me talking at this level is not going to affect her hunt. Remember, these cats have been interacting around vehicles for a very, very long time, for at least the last 30 years, if not even longer than that. And they are habituated to the vehicles and the sounds of our voices. So you can see every now and then she'll turn her ears around to listen to the other sounds that are about, because she's not the only predator on the property. She's also got to watch her back. She needs to make sure that there's not another leopard stalking up to her, or a lion, or a hyena coming in to investigate. We know hyenas are curious creatures and often tail leopards and hope that they can snatch up their kill. So me whispering like this is really not going to have an effect at all on that cat. And we are far away. We must be about 70 meters away from her, which is a really good distance for with hunting. Oh, and Teresa, you're wondering how far away we are from Thandi. Well, like I said, about 70 meters or so we're quite a distance. But she's got her head tilted down. She's not looking up and in front of her. She really looks like she's looking at the base of that shrub, which is making me think that perhaps it's a scrub hare. No, a scrub hare is not going to be very much, but it's like basically an energy bar. You see that? See how her eyes are fixated down on the ground? And you're probably thinking, why doesn't she just charge on there and grab it? You won't believe how fast a scrub hare is. They can really, really move. And if she makes one mistake, that thing could shoot out of the grass and her opportunity will be ruined. There we go. You see how she's tensing again? Putting all the weight in her back legs, getting ready to shoot into the air. And for a leopard to really have any chance of catching anything, she needs to get within maybe 15 to 20 meters at least. If she can get any closer, that's great, that's better. Because if they can just jump straight up and pounce directly down onto their prey, they've got the greatest chance of holding onto it. See that? She looks like she wants to go, but she's uncertain. There's also a lot of obstacles for her there. Lots of branches with thorns and things on. Although I don't think she'll be minding too much. I think if it means that she needs to pounce on a couple of thorns, it'll be okay. Lisa, you said, could it be a snake? Maybe a python. I've seen many leopards eating pythons before. I have seen leopards eating other reptiles like water monitors and rock monitors, so it could be one of those also curled up in there. The only thing though is I have seen a couple of birds every now and then landing on the trees above her. And a bird is not a leopard's friend, unfortunately. They will alarm and alert all the other animals that speak that same language that she is around, and then whatever she's going for might be alerted to that and then actually move off in a flat panic. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being a scrub hare just trying to hide away from the heat of the day, and all of a sudden things start alarming around you, but you can't see or smell or hear anything that would point you in the direction of a leopard? It must be absolutely terrifying. She has got a bit of a gentle breeze, which will help her too. Because if she does maybe step on a leaf and it crunches, perhaps that breeze will be just blowing strong enough to sort of rustle the leaves, rustle the grass. That maybe whatever she's looking at won't know that she is around. But you can hear all the birds all starting to wake up now. All chirping, all waking up. Sheila, you said that this is so awesome and you hope that she eats something. I do too. I also really hope so. We did have an interaction not so long ago where we heard this Franklin screaming. He was absolutely having a heart attack. So we stopped and we listened, and flew from the ground up and into the tree. And they're ground-dwelling birds typically. They can fly, but they spend majority of their time on the ground. I had a little look around, and then luckily we were able to spot a leopard. But it wasn't Thandi, it was Hosana, and he raced up a tree, and then there was also a kill in the tree. He kept looking down and snarling, and I thought to myself, what is that? It's either going to be a hyena or another leopard. And that's when Thandi emerged from the drainage line below. So we're unsure if she already made that kill and Hosana stole it, or if it was the other way, or if Hosana was just defending his kill. He's another male leopard in the area. Some of you may remember Kruger, who's a very famous leopard in the northern sands, but sadly she's moved on. It was her son, the last son that she had. And it's nice to know that he's still around here, and he could rock up at any moment too. Although I think he might be preoccupied with defending his Dacre kill in the tree. Come on, Thandi. You can do it. Now, being tensed up like that must be crazy. I can't imagine sitting in the squat position for that long. Could any of you? I'd be exhausted. I'd be shaking. My whole body would be very uncomfortable. So it just goes to show how incredibly strong these animals are. How fit they are. To be able to hold that position for such a long time. I mean, she's barely shuffled her feet around. Willie, you feeling optimistic? You've said any day now. I'm also hoping so. I also hope that it is going to happen sooner rather than later. Every now and then she just looks like she wants to go, and then she rethinks. She goes, no, not yet. And she's not a young leopard either. She's an older girl, so she's got a lot of experience on her side. Whereas if it was a young leopard, you know, they might want to jump and pounce too early. It looks like she's reshuffling again, though. She's doing the wiggle, where she swishes her hips from side to side, shuffling her hindquarters in the best position. Here we go again. Are you backing up, or are you going to pounce? She looks like she wants to pounce. Come on, girl, make your move. There we go. There she goes. What has she got? She's chasing after something. Okay, right, let's go. Now that she's moved, we can also... I need to watch out for stumps, though. She's just gone chasing off through. I think it may have been a scrub hare. Nah, unsuccessful, I'm afraid. Let me get one view of her. There she goes. Sadly, Thandi, my dear, you did not win. And out of that frustration, lifting her tail, marking her territory up against this apple leaf tree. But what a great moment. An attempt, that's just one of those things. This is typically what you do see of a leopard. But I hope you did enjoy that, and you can continue watching Safari Live. All you've got to do is Google it. And we're going to continue following Thandi around. Hopefully she'll make another attempt. But for myself and Sebastian, it's been great, and we hope to hear from you all soon. Right, let's go back across to Scott. He's in the Muwati, and he's got Thandi again.
Well, yes, we've been sitting, waiting patiently here. What exciting stuff with Taylor. And it looks like Thandi's found something she'd like to roll in. I'm guessing some poop. Not too sure which animal. And what an exciting morning. Now, Hosana disappeared into an impenetrably thick area where we actually couldn't see him, so we decided to rather come and give Taylor a hand here, and we just want to make sure that Taylor keeps a close eye on Thandi until she hopefully takes her all the way back to the den. Taylor's yet to see the cubs, so I'm hoping that she gets lucky this morning. I just thought I'd come in and give a hand where I could, just to keep an eye on old Thandi. Now, after that long period of kind of sitting posed and ready to pounce, her muscles must be very tired. You can imagine just holding that position for, geez, what was it, close on 10 minutes? Maybe even a little bit more than that. And you can see she's just kind of gaining her breath, regaining her breath. And I'm sure it's not going to be long before she gets back up and on the move. Now, I've been following tracks. Let me see if I can reposition ever so slightly. I've been following tracks of a female leopard, in all likelihood this lady over here, and she's moved a huge distance over the night, and I'm guessing what her plan has been is to try and explore a lot of the areas where she hasn't been moving that much. I mean, it's just guessing that she hasn't been here, just to make sure she knows what's going on with the Hukumuri male, who I'm certain she knows is pushing into this territory and is a threat to her cub. So I think she's been doing a little bit of a perimeter check. She went all the way to came along Shibam Road, which is quite far west. And I'm guessing after a long night out, she's going to want to go back and check in with the cub. Del, you would like to know what is the purpose of Thandi scent marking? Well, female leopards will compete with other female leopards for territories, and male leopards with other male leopards. So she's making sure the other ladies know that this is her patch. And the same goes for lion. Male lions will compete with other male lions, and prides of females will compete with other prides of females. So each gender has their own property to look after. The females and prides of lion are ordinarily much smaller territories than the males. I'm not too sure where Taylor's gone, but I hope she hasn't left the sighting, because I just came here to help keep an eye on things, and also just the fact that we had this lady on the move was a good opportunity to just double team and make sure we don't miss any action. I mean, that hunt, had our vehicle been in a slightly better positioned area, we may have been able to assist capturing the chase. Often it's difficult for one vehicle to get all the action. Okay, good. Here comes Taylor, and Taylor, it looks like she's heading up towards you there, which is absolutely perfect. So I'd suggest hopping onto Taylor's vehicle, because that's where you're going to be getting the best views shortly. So, over to Taylor's vehicle.
Ah! She's just behind us, you can see her. She just squeezed on as I came around the corner. Thanks, Scotty! Just shouting to Scott, thank you very much. Off he goes. I hope Scott's going to hang around. It could be quite nice, because there's no one else in the sighting with us. So, if Scott's happy, Curse, I mean, we should just bounce back and forth, because I think we might lose her in this thicket. But of course it is up to Scotty D. So sorry about the aerial, everybody. You can just see it. But Thandi has decided she's going to have a quick scratch there. And I don't know where she's going to go from now. Do you want me to try reposition a bit for you? Let me do that. I'm testing Seb's arms. Let's go. Oh, wait, hang on. And you maybe need to do that. I don't know why I make those sounds when I do things. So strange. There we go. Now she's climbing up. Oh no. Thandi. Oh, please come back. Please don't go up there. There we go. Maybe she's going to have a nice scratch on the tree. Oh, listen to the sounds. So she's sharpening her claws now, as you can see. That's what leopards like to do. It's very important. We were talking about this yesterday, how they're strengthening the tendons, they're getting rid of the old nail sheets, all of these things. I think Scott's trying to make his way in there, which will be great. There she goes. She's done now.